Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. John Fury has decided that he wants to have a boxing match with Carl Froch. This follows comments that Froch made about Tyson Fury, saying that, you know, he didn't think his legacy was that great and his resume is thin. And then John came back and called Froch a shithouse and all the rest of it. And then Froch came back and said, look, John, you know, you're not going to beat anyone up. You're not going to kick anyone's rear end. You know, you're talking nonsense, mate. And Froch ended his last sort of retort by saying, look, let's hug it out, mate. You know, come on, let's stop being silly here. Well, that's not good enough for John, because John decides, no, I want to have a fight. I want to have a fight with you. I want to have a boxing match. I want to do 90,000 at Wembley. Oh, man, this guy, John Fury. I've never seen anyone that insecure. He's 59 years old, John Fury. I don't know how old's Froch. What is he, early 40s, mid-40s? Mid-40s. So you could say that John is almost old enough to be Carl Froch's father, almost, you know, give him another 5 years. And yet there he is saying he wants to beat him up. I mean, this is a nonsense. And John Fury has become a sort of cartoonish, I don't know, a caricature of a tough guy, almost. And I'm no doubt John can have a fight on the street, or he could do when he was younger. He probably still can. But if you want to talk about boxing matches, I mean, John's boxing career was very, very modest. And anyone who gets in the ring, I've got time for them, you know, respect them and all that. But look at what Carl Froch achieved. Yeah, I know he's smaller. I know he's a smaller man. What is Froch now? Probably about 13.5 stone, maybe. He looks in shape. Whenever you see him, he looks in reasonable shape. John looks like a fat man who's closer to old age than middle age. Still a tough guy, but why is this guy's ego so fragile that he can't... You know, Froch said at the end of the last video he did, look, come on, let's stop being silly. Let's hug it out. Let's be on friendly terms. That's not good enough for John. John wants to beat everyone up. He wants to have a fight with everyone, except he doesn't, does he? Because I think a few people, I mean, obviously Mickey Theo was one of them, and a couple of people I did hear, I think it was Dominic Negus wanted to have a fight with, or said he'd have a fight with John, and there was another one. I can't remember. What are we going to do with this guy? It's kind of embarrassing, isn't he? But again, and the funny thing is with John Fury is when he calms down and he actually starts talking about boxing, he says some quite pertinent things. But he seems to feel that any kind of criticism is some sort of insult, has to be, you know, resisted with either a pile of insults, profanity, or a challenge to have a punch-up. I mean, this is, like I say, this is embarrassing. John, you're giving middle-aged men a bad name, mate. You know? Yeah, oh, God. Do you know what? Someone said, actually a few people have said this, but they said they just like to see the back of the Furies now. They can't wait for Tyson to retire so that we can move on from all his nonsense and free up the belt so that people who actually do want the undisputed title, the fight, and they can get on with it. So the other heavyweights can just get on with boxing and leave the whole pantomime and all the rubbish and all the hangers-on that goes with it and all the relatives. They can just leave them behind and move on to something different. Move on to something that's got more to do with boxing than, you know, the silly season. And I kind of agree with that. I kind of do agree with it because it's gotten really fucking boring, hasn't it? Anyway, I just thought I'd do a quick video on dear old John Fury. He's become like the embarrassing uncle, isn't he, at the Christmas party, you know. All right, yeah. Or maybe Grandad. Yeah. Oh, sit down, Grandad. You're right. Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, oh, no, you're right, mate. Yeah, during the war. Yeah, that's right. You sit down there. Okay. Yeah. Jelly and ice cream? No worries. We'll get you a plateful. What do you think? Come on, leave comments below as normal. Yeah, subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button if you're new. Do all that good stuff. Takes a second. And I'll catch you later. John Fury, The Hard Road.